The war of words in the Caribbean is heating up. Venezuela has issued a stern warning to its neighbors Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, cautioning them against lending support to any U.S. military action. Caracas says if their territories are used as launch pads for attacks, there will be a proportional yet forceful response. So, what exactly was said and how are regional leaders reacting? Let's get into it. Earlier this week, Venezuela's Defense Minister General Vladimir Padrino Lopez declared that both Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana must not allow U.S. forces to operate from their soil. In his words, if an attack against Venezuela is launched from those territories, we will respond proportionally in legitimate defense of our sovereignty. The Maduro government accused Port of Spain and Georgetown of following Washington's playbook, as he calls it, and aligning with U.S. imperial ambitions.
A lot of this fear mongering. There have been no discussions with the US or anyone else. However, I repeat, should Venezuela invade Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago will definitely step forward in defense of our cousins, our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. I will dare to do what I have to do to keep the people of Trinidad and Tobago safe. That is my priority. I've said TNT first. That is my priority. I have no intention. We've had no discussions of invading Venezuela, of stepping onto Venezuelan soil. Nothing of the sort is happening.
Meanwhile, reports out of Washington have fueled even more speculation. Eduardo Menoni of La Libertad Media posted on X that U.S. intelligence has identified the bunker, allegedly used by President Nicolas Maduro and Diosdado Cabello. According to those claims, the facility is buried some 40 meters underground at Simón Bolívar International Airport, complete with barracks, a gym, oxygen supply for weeks, and guarded by Cuban security. These claims, while unverified, add another layer of intrigue to the escalating standoff. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar was quick to downplay the threat. She told Guardian Media via WhatsApp that the United States has never requested access to Trinidad for military action against Venezuela. She stressed that TNT has always had good relations with the Venezuelan people and those ties will continue. But she has also challenged Caracas to cooperate on repatriation, particularly of around 200 Venezuelan nationals detained for criminal activity. In her own words, that can start today with them accepting their citizens back. For over 2 months, they have stalled their process. They also need to tackle drugs, arms, and human trafficking across the Gulf of Paria, which fuels bloody gang violence here. Now, Venezuela has denied any knowledge of any gang violence, of any drug trade, or anything that's going on. The Venezuelan ambassador to Trinidad, Alvaro Enrique Sanchez Cordero, gave a different explanation. He claimed U.S. sanctions have made repatriation difficult by grounding Venezuelan aircraft and that Trinidad itself has blocked flights under the pretext of U.S. restrictions.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has instructed the Coast Guard to use deadly force against any unidentified Venezuelan vessels entering Trinidad and Tobago. She fears Venezuela retaliates for armed Colombian nationals entering Venezuelan waters. Venezuela says they will hunt down anyone trying to destabilize Venezuela. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says Trinidad and Tobago stands with the United States on issues relating to Venezuela. What do you think about the Prime Minister's strong stance against Venezuela? Currently, tensions are building between Trinidad and Venezuela. Y'all go let me know what y'all think about this.
Persad-Bissessar pushed back, insisting that the delay are entirely on Venezuela's side. She emphasized that all systems are in place in Trinidad for the safe return of these individuals. Well, one side says this, one side says that. We're hoping this is not going to lead into anything else or anything further. The Prime Minister also doubled down on her support for U.S. anti-narcotics operations in the Caribbean. After reports of the second U.S. Navy strike against a suspected drug boat, she declared, "The only people against these actions are those who benefit directly and indirectly from the illegal drug trade. Our economy has been awash with narco dollars for years, and it's fueled violence and destruction. We needed help, and now we are getting that help. from the United States. So here's where things stand. Venezuela is warning its neighbors not to align with Washington. Trinidad's prime minister is brushing off the threats, pointing instead to the very real challenges of drugs, crime, and migration. Guyana, for its part, has yet to issue a direct response. All eyes now turn to September 26th, when Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar addresses the United Nations General Assembly. That may be the moment Trinidad officially outlines its position to the world. Until then, the question remains, is this simply political posturing or the prelude to the deeper tensions that are going to be happening in the Caribbean? We'll continue to follow the story. Until next time, I'm Whitney McCoy. Thanks for watching.